Hey guys, welcome back to Ranger Survival and Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew, and what I have for you today is just a quick look at our Combat Fanny Pack. Stand by. Alright guys, welcome back. So what I want to do today is just have a quick discussion on the Combat Fanny Pack. This thing is making a comeback in ground force units. In fact, I had a couple of NCOs throughout the years that used to wear this, and I used to make fun of them, but it's actually a good idea to keep a lot of those smaller items we're going to use that we need to have on us, but we don't want to keep getting into and out of our assault bag, and we just want them right there because we're going to use them constantly. Things like signaling devices, maybe PPE, utility items like tape, and land navigation items, other things that could go in this type of kit. We could either take this and attach it to our plate carrier or our vest. You'll notice mine is completely slick, and that's because I got a new job and I got to turn all my everything in before I go to that new job, so I had to disassemble my plate carrier, which is why there's nothing on it right now, and no plates inside. But we could take this type of pouch, attach it if we wanted to. There are different pouches that hang down below the actual plate that act similarly to a fanny pack, or we could just take this with the belt strap, put it around our waist, wear it, and then if we have to get down on the prone for some reason, we can slide this off left or right hand side, finish what we're doing, get up and slide it back to the front so we can access this and get whatever contents we need to out of the pouch. So this is a great way to carry all those items instead of having them in our cargo pocket, banging around, hitting our leg while we're trying to run, or in our assault bag where we have to take off our bag, get into it, close the bag, and then put it back on. So just an easier method for us to get to those items. Now this isn't going to be a survival kit necessarily. There could be items in here for survival, but we're going to rely mostly on items that are going to get the job done. Those operational items, things we need to shoot, move, communicate, and kill. But that doesn't mean we don't have survival items on us. So typically, as a pocket carry, a complement to this kit, and I've talked about level kits before, level 3 rucksack, level 2 our flick or plate carrier, and then even now our fanny pack of freedom right here, and then in our pockets. And so for our pocket kit, we should always have some sort of survival knife or big fixed blade knife. This is the Falk Neva F1 military survival knife. Good to go. It's going to be our BFK. We also should have some sort of utility knife. If we don't have that fixed blade, we could have just a small folder in our pocket. Cut open that MRE if we're not using our BFK, or cut a medical dressing open, cut some cordage, whatever we needed to, just a small utility knife in that front pocket. I also think that the multi-tool is probably the best survival slash utility slash war, combat, all-around decent pocket tool that we should have with us. This is the Leatherman Wave Plus. This is actually the second time I bought this. The first one was finally retired, but it's got everything: pliers, wire cutters, a couple of blades, saws. It's got scissors on it, so we can even use those scissors as a reamer or awl, just with a tip here. But it does everything in a built-up urban environment as well as out in a wilderness setting. Then, of course, some sort of fire starter. Always have a way to start fire in your pocket or light up a cigarette for your buddy. You got paracord, just a regular 7-strand paracord, about 10, 15, maybe 20 feet of paracord in the pocket. I also like to keep a cravat, a triangle piece of 100% cotton dressing that comes in a lot of military medical kits. We can use this for medical instruments like a pressure dressing tourniquet, improvised that is, eye covering, head covering. We could use it as a swath or for a splint. We could also use it for camouflage. We could use it to help strain water, and we can use it for char. A lot of different things we can do with this piece of material right here, so it goes in the pocket, similar to a bandana. Another thing that we could have in the pocket is just a headlamp. This should go around our neck right before lights out so we can grab it at nighttime, and then in the morning when the sun comes up we can place it back in our fanny pack of justice here. And then one of the last items we should probably have is a tourniquet in that pocket so we can stop severe bleeding right as soon as it starts, potentially save our life or save somebody else's life. So a tourniquet or tourniquet, however you want to pronounce it, the TQ goes in the pocket. Alright, so that's a pocket carry, just reiterating again the levels of survival. So now with this fanny pack, we'd potentially have 4 levels and not 3 levels of survival. So that's going to be in our pockets, on our belt, on our flick or fighting vest, and then in our rucksack. So now let's dive into this kit and I'll show you a typical setup, things that could go in here for operations, and give you guys some ideas as well for your own kit. Alright, so you notice the pouch. We got a nice zipper pouch right up front here behind the actual flag and the pile tape. This is where I would recommend we keep just routine items we know we're going to use constantly. And it could be things such as just simple face paint. Take out the face paint, veg up, throw this guy right back in there. I would recommend snacks or candies of some sort. Right in here, I've just got military energy gum. If you haven't had these are pretty awesome, especially if you've still been drinking coffee. They're just caffeine chewing gum, so chew on this, stay alert. All right, so that's the front. The top pouch, you'll notice on the sides we've got chem lights, so we can use it for signaling. We don't have to have this stuff attached to a fanny pack. This could be on our battle belt or somewhere else. It's not a huge deal, but having ways to signal or to mark areas very quickly is important, especially for medevac or casualty collection points, for clearing rooms, all that kind of stuff. So just having signals ready to go is important. Now on this side, got your shooter gloves. These could go right on the belt as well instead of on the fanny pack. It doesn't really matter. It's all shooter preference. There's no wrong answer, shooter preference. We got our combat gloves or our shooter gloves, and then even some electrical tape right here for improvisation or whatever we need tape for. Those are the outside things. All right, so I'm going to go to the back pouch right here instead of going into the main compartment right now because this one's pretty small. But right back here, this one's going to be sitting as close to our waist as possible. And so back here we've got just emergency signaling devices. Doc is going to carry that giant VS-17 panel. He's going to have that, and my platoon sergeant's going to have another one as part of his main kit. But if we need an emergency signal, and I'm up there, I've got this small aviator's panel that is silk, throw it out, alert aircraft, hopefully. And then on top of that, just a metal signaling mirror. This is not going to get damaged. It's metal. It will continue to reflect the sun's rays so we can alert search and rescue aircraft, friendly forces, whatever. Just a couple of other signaling devices that'll sit right back here in this thin pouch that we can use in an emergency so they're not in the pocket. We've got that good belt. We wrap around our waist, and now we can look at the main compartment. The zipper goes all the way down and around, so this thing will actually open up similar to a suitcase. I'm not going to do that just on the off chance that everything starts spilling out, but there's a lot of different separators in here to keep gear inside. All right, so the first item is just another GPS. We could have that wrist GPS that a lot of guys have, but having another one like this so we can double check our position or potentially use the face where we have maps built into this GPS to find or potentially find and locate an enemy position to call indirect fire. So this is just a quick way for acquisition for that indirect fire, and also just a good land navigation item to have. Could have pre-planned routes in here. Next, we got IR strobe, a good one, so we can signal at nighttime. Just a good signal to have out there for aircraft, or if it's a pre-coordinated signal with other friendly forces when the world goes green, and then we have to signal and hopefully not shoot each other. And back here, map markers. We don't absolutely need all these map markers, but having these, especially as an officer or as the leader, you're going to be planning things and writing things down, and you could have out your little platform where you have your map and everything, writing down different tactical task symbols on the map, or just doing a basic sketch of an objective while you're briefing a plan. So having map markers to write things down, and then even the eraser to erase things, or we could have non-permanent markers, but they tend to smudge off very easily. So I opt for the permanent markers, and then I just carry the eraser marker with me as part of this kit. So besides those markers in the back, a technique is to have a laminated sheet of the operational area or area of operation as a spare map. Notice that I've kept and the northings, the eastings on this map so we can get good grid references. That combined with a GPS is going to be extremely helpful. Spare map laminated of the area we're going to be in so we can use that in case the other one we have gets destroyed or we lose it for whatever reason. We've got a spare map to operate with, or if we're doing escape and evasion. All right, further back, we got notebook so we can write down any notes. We could have a larger notebook in our cargo pocket, but a small notebook for any other notes that we need to take down, whatever it is. Or we could use it for reports as well. We have a call for fire card in case we forget how to call for fire, and then a 9-line medevac so we can write it down very quickly, get the first 5 lines out, wait for the bird inbound, and then give them the rest as they move to us. But having these printed out saves a lot of time and effort when you're trying to remember, especially in a chaotic environment, how to send up your 9-line medevac request or a call for fire. Remember, combat is an open book test, so if you've got these with you, use them. Just another thing we can throw in here. After that, just a Mylar blanket for shelter or for a casualty, or if we become a casualty. As part of exsanguination or severe blood loss, the body temperature goes down on a casualty, so being able to wrap them up and keep that body temperature up as best as possible helps to save lives. So this is something that is good for survival, but also for saving someone's life, even our own. We got a couple shotgun shells as part of the kit. Now, way back in the day, I actually had the shotgun as part of my squad when I was a lower enlisted man, and so I had that Mossberg 500 in Iraq rolling around just waiting to get blown up. So having a few extra shotgun shells as part of that kit is going to be important. Plus, if you don't have a side saddle and you don't have a way to store this ammunition, having a fanny pack like this is great rather than trying to throw a few of these in your pocket. And I actually love the Mossberg so much that I went out and got my own copy, and I've got my own side saddles with ammo ready to go. Also in here is another signaling device. Notice we got chem lights here for marking. We can use them for signals as well, but we've got one in here ready to go. It's just a chem light wrapped with paracord, so we can use it as a buzzsaw signal at nighttime. A great signal to have for friendly forces, aircraft, anybody that needs to see us. And typically what we did with these is use them for the casualty collection point. The platoon sergeant would whip this out, spin it, and everybody would funnel into him to bring in the wounded so Doc could treat them. So this is a very good signal to have and very distinguishable out there in the field. A little zipper pouch right here. We can keep some other items. Speaking of snacks, one thing that is one of my TTPs, techniques, tactics, and procedures, is just grabbing the peanut butter out of an MRE and throwing that in my pocket or in this pouch, and that's going to be my snack for later. Going through a lot of military training, especially with sleep, food deprivation, peanut butter was the thing that I craved most, so that's going to go right in my kit. Next, we've got just batteries. We've got 1, 2, 3s, and then AA's. We can also have AAA's, whatever we need to in here for optics, lasers, radios, even GPSs. We have batteries to fix those systems if they happen to go down. You never know. Carry spare batteries so we can still use them in a fight. And then lastly, emergency signal, just a whistle, auditory. We can also use this as a direct fire control measure in small unit tactics. This is going to carry a lot further than my voice, especially with bullets flying down range or if comms go down. So just an emergency communication device that we could use not only for survival signaling, but we could also use it in small unit operations, trying to communicate direct fire control measures between each other during a firefight. All right, so that does it for that. Very small pouch. And you can see we've got that zipper compartment right here so we can separate everything. We've got little separators back here as well as elastic here for those rounds or for other pieces of equipment that need to go in here and kind of maintain a little bit of organization as well as preventing those items from falling out if we have this thing open and we have to hit the ground really quick. So just a very small, compact but versatile kit to give us a lot of different uses, especially when we're away from our main pack. All right, so let's pack this thing up. All right, guys, not much to it, but then again, there's actually a lot to it. A lot of different purposes in here, a lot of different things to complete the mission, but then also to save lives, whether that be through medevac or improvisation, or potentially for signaling rescue to get pulled out of a dangerous situation. But I just wanted to show you guys this, the Combat Fanny Pack or the Freedom Fanny Pack. It's making a comeback, and wanted to show you typical items that could be carried, especially in large-scale combat operations for just ground forces, regular infantry type stuff. Well, guys, I really hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate you guys' feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, for this channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with a video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.